in the water. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
This is going to be a longer video. Grab a coffee, relax, and let's get into the HK UMP45. This is a gas blowback rifle retailing for around $380 on most websites, around that price. Coming in at one of what I would assume is the cheaper gas blowback rifles on the market. This gun is quite impressive for the price it's selling for. First, we'll go on the backstory as to how I wound up with this guy. I didn't purchase this. I traded for it on the hop-up app. I had traded a Modify PP2000 long version, so the OTS 126. That gun also retails for around $350, I believe. I have a PP2000, so I decided to go ahead and trade for this. I didn't intend to keep this rifle. I had thought, you know what? Hey, I'll trade with them. I'm trying to get rid of the OTS. I've already filmed a ton of videos with it. I think it'd be a cool idea if I got this on the table and did a review on it, some videos, some shorts and whatnot, could make some content out of it, and decided that I was going to send it on its way. Until I played with it. And it quickly became one of my favorite gas blowback rifles in my collection. Why? I'm going to go over the specs of the gun. We'll do a basic breakdown and discuss some of the internals. We'll do some firing tests, and I'm really going to put it through the works for the firing test so you can see what it's capable of, what the mag is capable of, and whatnot. Let me just go ahead and pull this guy out. This is our magnet. Obviously, airsofters get themselves all wet whenever you have steel parts, so we're going to use this guy to test out any steel parts in the gun. First things first, the externals. Let's remove the magazine. Now, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt when it comes to real steel. I have never handled the real steel UMP. This is just from what I've been told and from what I've read online. The gun itself is entirely polymer. Every portion of it is polymer on the externals except for a few spots. As far as I'm aware, the real steel version as well is also polymer. Well built, so don't let the plastic exterior. We'll start by working our way front to back. We'll leave my favorite part and everyone else's, the ass, for last. The front of the gun comes with its flash hider. It's not threaded as far as I'm aware. You can purchase a suppressor or a barrel extension for the front of it. I can't get a hold of it at the moment because a lot of them seem to be sold out. I think they're like 30, 40 bucks, so they're pretty cheap actually. It, as far as I'm aware, is plastic. You notice you have the rails. The rails are some sort of a metal, maybe an aluminum, because they are not steel. But the bolts that hold them in place are. The bolt is entirely plastic, so is the neck of it. The entire upper and lower receiver are plastic. So is your fire selecting switch. Your mag release is also plastic. Bolt release is steel. Upper rail is aluminum. Light comes separately. I just put that on there. The trigger is plastic. Stock and the stock release are plastic as well. And then the back butt pad is some sort of a rubber. Now moving on to the external review. We'll go in depth about a couple parts. The flash hider on this guy, or the outer barrel, is plastic. It does not have threading. You can purchase a barrel extension, which is kind of like a suppressor style barrel extension. I think they're like $30 to $40, but I've looked everywhere and they seem to be out of stock. So good luck with that. I'm sure you can find one used. The rails are all nice. CNC machined, it seems. They're all sturdy, no wobble to any of them. And you could take them off and it doesn't ruin the gun at all if you wanted something else to hold on to. The bolt was my main concern with this rifle, being that it's plastic. Obviously, being that it's an HK, almost MP5 style bolt, you want to be able to HK slap it. I've seen a few people's in the heavy recoil Discord break. I don't know what the strength behind this bolt is. It might not be the best. I haven't had any issues. My original thought was the neck where the bolt connects. This plastic will be slamming into this post right here, or I guess this piece of plastic right here, and at some point would snap off. But you'll notice that even when it slams forward, it doesn't actually make contact. The bolt is stopping inside of here. So that's nice. So HK slap at your own risk. All of the parts seem to be replaceable, so you can go ahead on their website and purchase them. They're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they're also not the most expensive. Going further down the gun, mag release, like I said, is plastic. However, it doesn't wobble an unnecessary amount. And it feels relatively firm and has a nice strong spring to it. Moving into your fire selector switch, I just want to say I'm extremely impressed. This is one of the firmest, most satisfying to click around fire selector switches I've ever seen. I believe, much like the regular HK UMP45, it's got all 3 fire modes. That is ambidextrous. Trigger, when the bolt is racked, has a little bit of play in it, and then it breaks. And there is no noticeable reset. The stock is extremely impressive. First of all, it's one of the only airsoft stocks I've ever noticed, even with its plastic construction, that has absolutely no rattle behind it. It's also extremely firm. The stock release is extremely firm with a super strong spring. And I was worried that this guy might break, but it seems strong so far. Just like the HK UMP45 real steel, it has places to hold your locking pins for the receiver. And the last thing I feel like I need to go over is the sights. Sights are adjustable. You have a small adjustment here. You can go to that nice halo for your iron sights, or that more like square style cutout. It does have windage and elevation adjustments. And your fright sight is just one big circle. You can't make any adjustments here. You might be looking at this hole and thinking, wow, that's your TDC hop-up. Nope, it's not. One really cool thing about this rifle is that the hop-up is inside of the barrel. So it's hidden away and it doesn't ruin the look of the gun at all. Right there, you just need an Allen key and you can twist that guy up, twist the guy down, and you can adjust your hop-up on the field. Time to perform a simple takedown. Rack the bolt. Push this pin through to the other side. Pull it out. Now, like I mentioned, you can store these back here in the stock, and it won't go anywhere. That pin is what detaches the upper and lower receiver from one another. Get further into the upper receiver, you remove the stock, fold it to the other side, push your bolt through the back end. Your spring and guide rod assembly will come out, and then out the back will pop out the bolt and nozzle. That's your basic takedown minus your hop unit. First, we'll start with the lower receiver. I'm going to sit here and pretend to you like I know what I'm looking at, and I'm going to take this from a perspective of somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at, because I don't. Your release, like I said, is steel. As for your hammer assembly, some sort of aluminum or pot metal. I think it's aluminum. And then there's a bunch of plastic parts. Your springs, as you'd imagine, are steel, and so are your pins. Taking a look at the inside of the receiver, a few spots or areas that I would say are grounds for concern in terms of longevity are the area where the bolt release is housed in, which is plastic. I'd assume that the bolt release takes a little bit of abuse when that bolt catches back. And I would assume the plastic up front is going to take some serious pressure, but we'll see longevity-wise. Obviously, there's a decent bit of wear on the gun already from general play and use. The cool part about the hammer is it does have a bearing on it. The bearing's plastic, but it allows to reduce wear on any sliding parts that go over it. Selector switch. The insides also appear to be plastic. I don't know what the longevity of that is, especially with someone like myself who's very touchy and constantly moving things around. However, plastic on plastic, it shouldn't wear too quickly. Your spring and guide rod assembly. Guide rod is not steel, the spring is. So is the larger spring. Guide rod seems to be some sort of aluminum with a buffer. Your bolt assembly is metal. It's not steel. The nozzle itself has a little bit of wobble to it, but it slides nice and smooth. To put the gun back together, You're going to keep the stock folded, slide this guy into place in the back, nozzle facing down. Allow it to fall all the way forward with that bolt. Take your spring, tubby end out the back. I'm going to make sure it seeds inside of the hole up here. Then go ahead and close this guy so it's locked in place. It ain't going nowhere. Last but not least, we're going to take our pin back out. Lower receiver to the upper receiver like so. Slide it on into place. And then we're going to push the pin back through. A way to test to make sure things are functioning. Clicks with all of your switches. If you rack the bolt, the hammer drops. You can even rack the bolt and hold the release. And if it stays open, that's a good sign that things are functioning the way they should. The mag, before we go shoot this guy, I want to discuss the mags. Like all gas blowback rifles, or any gas blowback guns, a mag of some decent size, green gas, is going to cost you a pretty penny. Unfortunately, these sell for, I think it's between like $50 and $65 a pop. You will notice there's no spring guide here. You can't pull this guy down. You just load the BBs directly through the top. Giant chunk of plastic encasing a block of metal. Okay, let's fill this guy up and go do some test firing.
We're using .2s and just some basic Vulcan green gas. Each mag holds about 25 rounds. The first test I want to do is I want to see, with each setting, semi, burst, and full auto, how many full mags of 25 rounds can we get out of one gas fill. This guy in a semi. We'll give it our first fire test. Bolt locked back. Mag test number 2. We locked back. Mag number 3. On semi, again, it's the same exact mag. We're not feeding. That was it. We're all out. We got through about 8-10 shots. So give or take 2 1/4 mags, maybe 2.5 on a good day. FYI, it's about 80 degrees here. So next fire test, I'm going to see how many mags we can get through on burst. One gas fill, we emptied the mag, nothing in it, and the bolt caught back. Same mag, same gas fill. Second round on burst fire. Lock back, empty mag, same mag, same gas fill. Third round. Locked back, 3 mags, same mag, same gas fill. Round 4. We're still going. Mag 5, same mag, same gas fill. Mag 5, burst fire. We're getting sluggish. Even when we're getting sluggish, still getting through the mag. Same mag, same gas fill. Round 6 on burst fire. About 4 shots in, say like 8 BBs. Fuck. 5.5 mags. First mag, first gas fill, full auto. Definitely interested to see how this goes based off of how well the 2-round burst did. Lock back on the first time. Got a nice kick to it. Second mag, second gas fill, full auto test. It's 2 mags. Third round, first gas fill, full auto test. That's 3. And all right, HK, let's just do another one. You gotta be kidding me. I am beyond impressed. I'm gonna go again. This is one of the most impressive feats of strength I've ever seen. I don't think I filled that one all the way. And still take this with a grain of salt because I'm not counting how many BBs are going in this. I'm just stopping when it gets too firm to fill. Every time it starts to chug, it just keeps on going. Dude, I'm just wasting rounds now. We stopped firing. We're leaking out the front. And finally, we've gotten through almost an entire mag. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I forgot about the water test? In the water. The mag into the gun now. We're going to rack the bolt. You can see here the bolt will rack. And again, it is in single fire mode. BB did come out. The bolt seemed to get stuck on its way back. Fire again. The bolt didn't lock back. Oh, it's still going, huh? So I think the problem isn't the water. It's that the green gas that I'm using is just about all out. So I'm going to go grab some more. I'm just going to leave it in here. New bottle. So like I said, we're going to semi-auto this guy in the water, take it out of the water for a little while, fire it, and put it back in the water, fire it, and then take it out again. So let's get to it. 2, 3, and we'll take it out. Bolt seam lock back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back in the water. That's kind of crazy. Through the little bucket. All right, we'll do one more. Oh, I guess we can't do one more. I'm all out of a bucket. First things first, you will notice it is still soaking wet getting back into the house. I didn't dry it off just yet because I wanted to go over this raw footage. All in all, from the shooting test, I am extremely impressed. I don't know, but this might be one of the most, if not the most, gas-efficient gas blowback airsoft rifle I've ever had my hands on. Now, obviously, gas blowback rifles are supposed to be able to fire underwater, being that there's no batteries or anything to plug them in. However, from my understanding, due to the expense and how cheap some of them can be, they don't always function the best, and they're already relatively finicky as is. I have also rare and yet to see an airsoft gun that is so consistent in full auto. And then even in and out of the water, the biggest problem that I was having was jams, like BBs getting stuck inside the receiver, and you just have to get them out, which could be a problem. Obviously, you could break nozzles and stuff, but overall, that's not that bad. It worked every time. And a quick unjam, keep going. It fired back out of the water the moment you got out of it. Obviously, how often are you getting into the water in Airsoft? But playing in the rain would be absolutely no problem. One thing that I did notice, and again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, plastic casing obviously isn't waterproof, so you get some build up here. But all in all, I guess you guys decide. Is this one of the best airsoft rifles out on the market? For 380 bucks, I sure as hell think so. One other thing I'd like to mention is obviously I didn't chronograph this guy. I don't have a chronograph at the moment. I just finally was successful in applying to YouTube to become monetized. I am blown away we managed to get there in about 2 months, if not just over. And within the first time, if we do get monetized, the first thing I'll go ahead and purchase is a chronograph. However, regardless, at some point I would like to purchase one on my own time anyway. If you have any questions in the comments, let me know.